Hello friends, this is first chapter, introduction. In this chapter we are going to introduce the machine design subject to you. This includes mechanical engineering design, steps involved in design process, aesthetic consideration in design, ergonomic consideration in design, use of standards in design, selection of preferred sizes. So first of all, we will see what is mean by a design. Design is essentially a decision making process. Design is nothing but a decision making process. As I have told you previously that every product that is being produced in industry is designed first by a design engineer, and then this design engineer draw these diagrams, assembly and part drawings, and finally the production engineer produce that product by studying the assembly drawing and part drawing. So design engineer communicates with the production engineer by means of a drawing. Drawing is the language of an engineer by which they communicate to each other. So design process starts with customer need or a problem, any problem that a customer is facing. So first of all, design engineer will study that problem, then he will decide the specification what should be done on that particular problem, and then design engineer will formulate a plan to satisfy that particular need, and that plan is called as design, and ultimately in the end we will get a solution to that problem. So designing means a decision making regarding a particular problem. There are many types of designs, but in this course we are going to focus on machine design. You know the meaning of word machine. Machine is a system or anything that when a input is given to that machine, something useful output is produced. So you know that there is drilling machine, there is a lathe machine, milling machine. In all these machines we provide some input and finally we get some output in the form of some machining operation, some drilling operation or a turning operation. So these all are machines. So we are focused on designing of a machine elements in this course. So now you know that design is a decision making process. In this process a design engineer prepares a plan, and this plan is produced in the form of drawing, assembly drawing and part drawing. Now we will see different features of machine design. So first feature is principles of basic and engineering sciences. So you have studied different engineering courses like thermal engineering or fluid mechanics or industrial engineering. So these basic sciences or courses that you have studied, you have to use that knowledge, previous knowledge, for designing a particular product. So first feature is using a principles of basic and engineering sciences. Second feature is technical information of the basic element of machine. In previous lecture I have told you different basic elements because we are going to design basic elements only, like shaft, like gear, bearing, nuts, bolts. So these are the basic elements, and an engineer is required to have that knowledge or technical information regarding that basic elements. So this is the second feature. So while you are designing something, you will require principles used in engineering sciences, then you will require the technical information. Third one is skill and imagination of designer. So you are going to use these different elements in a different configuration. So finally you will have some final product by configuring different parts. So for that you will require some skill and imagination. And after that, what you are going to do, you are going to form a drawings for assembly and individual components. So this is the final stage of designing, and finally a customer's need will be fulfilled. Now consider an example. Suppose an engineer is tasked with design of a chair. Suppose you have been told to design a chair. So what consideration you are going to consider? So there are many factors that you have to consider. First factor is purpose. Why you are going to use this chair? Whether it is a easy chair to put in a home where you can rest, or it is a office chair or a chair along with the dining table. So purpose, this is the first consideration that you have to consider while designing a chair. Then who is going to use this chair? A grown up person or a child? If you are going to design for a grown up person, then the dimensions will be bigger, or if it is used by child, then dimensions will be lesser or smaller. Third one is material. So which material you are going to use for that chair? Some engineer might use wood, someone else might use steel, some other designer might use a plastic or another material. So material is again going to be a deciding factor. And finally the cost. Different material cost different, so you have to consider the cost also. And aesthetic design. So the chair should look good, or external appearance of that chair should be good. It should be pleasing to the customer. Customer should get attracted towards that chair. So aesthetic look, its shapes should be aesthetic. So these are the factors that you are going to decide while you are going to design a chair. Similarly, you can take example of any component. In designing of a component, there are many factors that you are going to decide first hand. So these specifications will be decided, and finally their dimensions will be decided. Okay, so this is one example that I have taken here. Now we will see different, or there are two types of design. First type is rational design. So rational design includes determining the stress and strain. So while designing, you will calculate the stress and strain that is occurring in the component, and based on that stresses and strains, you will finalize, or you will decide the dimensions. What should be the dimension, what should be the diameter, what should be the length, what should be the height, different dimensions, thickness. You will decide that dimensions based on your stress and strain calculations. So this is called as a rational design. And this design is called rational because everything that you have calculated can be proved mathematically. Everything that you will decide will be proved mathematically. So you can prove this by using some principles regarding the stress, regarding the strain. There are many principles, so you will prove this. Why you have decided that dimension, what thickness you have taken, why you have taken that thickness, why you have taken that diameter. So you can prove this. So if proof is available, then that is called as rational design. And second type, This is empirical design. So there are many cases where actual stress and strain calculation is very difficult or it is not possible easily. So in that case what we do, we don't calculate stress and strain. Instead of going for stress and strain calculation, what we do, we use empirical formula. This empirical formula is nothing but a formula based on your previous experience and previous experiments. Suppose you are designing a part which is being designed previously by many different engineers. So after designing a part for many times, suppose 1,000 times or 100 times a part is designed, then you can come to a conclusion that what should be the dimensions, what should be the relation between force and dimension, or a force or a thickness, or a force or a diameter. So depending upon the previous experience and previous experiments, some formula is formulated, empirical formula is formulated, and for design we directly use this formula, and there is no mathematical proof of this formula. Why we are using this formula? There is no proof, but we have experience, previous experience, that this formula is correct, this design is safe, but there is no mathematical proof to that. For example, when two plates, suppose there are two plates and you have to use a bolt to fix these two plates. Suppose this is a bolt and you have used a nut over here to tight this plate, to join this plate together. Then what should be the tension, what should be the applied tension to the nut? We cannot calculate that very easily. The tension in the nut and in the bolt we can calculate easily, but there is one empirical formula that tension or a tightening force is equals to 284 into D. D is the diameter of the bolt. So after using many times, engineer came to conclusion that this formula is suitable for the tightening force, but there is no mathematical proof of that. Why there is 284 into D, but this formula proves to be a safe formula, so we use this formula directly. So this is called as empirical design. So many times we use rational design whenever it is possible to calculate stress and strain, and sometimes we use empirical design where calculation of stress and strain is difficult. In that case we use this empirical formula.